Okay, last week obviously we went through acute withdrawal syndrome. Very much what comes at the end of a relapse, and like the kind of gross corpse-like state I was in 16 times. Um, that was rough. That was really fucking hard to get through. I nearly cracked. I nearly cried several times a day. You probably heard, but I won. Uh, I wanted to touch on quite a lot briefer than last week's. This isn't going to be an hour. This is hopefully going to be like 15 minutes. I wanted to touch on the before, the cravings, because there's something. They're a different beast entirely. Because so the thing with cravings is there's a decision in it, the decision to give in and you know have the slip, lapse, or relapse, dependent on length of time you're in it. Um, and I thought it would be an interesting exercise to do today because I'm feeling better. You know, sleep doesn't exist again yet. Um, I still have so many tests and medical shits to get through. Um, and I'm still not going to talk about the past 2 months like properly, publicly. I'm just not ready for that yet. Um, Cravings. When your brain, you, life wants the substance, kind of. For me, it was well, I'd articulate it as my mind wants differently to what I do, and I pay attention to my mind. Cravings change me. They very much change me at a basal level. Like kind of the makeup of who I am just switches. And please don't get me wrong. It's me who does it. It's me who doesn't have it to challenge the craving. I don't think any part of this the responsibility is not entirely on me to have strategies in place. Up until last week, I didn't have any strategies for it. That's why I kept losing and went through acute withdrawal syndrome 16 times. I mean, could have been 16 times. The first few times may have just been withdrawal or a really bad hangover. I can't fucking remember them. That's how it worked until last week, and I did that video. I'd have that trauma response and just block it out, so I'd forget the awfulness. Um, so last week I did the talk. I put the video on YouTube. It's an hour long. It's fucking depressing, and it's possibly the best decision I have ever made. I'm never going to rewatch that video. Never fucking ever going to rewatch that video. I don't have to. I have tried so many times in the past to make sure that I remember how fucking despicable withdrawal is. I've written it down. I've ruminated on it while going for fucking 4 hour long walks to, scurry away from my addictive tendencies. Um, Last week I did something quite big for me. I spoke about it as myself of genuine vulnerability. You may wonder why I've chosen a beach as a backdrop. I fucking hate beaches. And it's too hot. And I'm wearing a fucking plaid lumberjack shirt because I feel sexy. Happy Pride. Um, sorry, I'm in a pretty good place. Fucking finally. Yeah, so I've had cravings the past couple of days. Um, I've had cravings where what I've recently been through, if I hadn't done that last week, I would have cracked immediately. Immediately. So I just wanted to kind of spend 5-10 minutes just talking about what cravings are like for me. And don't think that's, I'm not going to tell you what cravings are like. I don't know. I can only talk about how they are for me. That's one of the first things we were taught in recap. Talk from the eye. Um, Soft white underbelly is very good if you want to hear about like some people who have really they fucking suffered addiction, like really suffered addiction, worse than me, way worse. Um, but addiction is different for everyone. The suffering is different for everyone. The recovery is very different for everyone. That was a gambit I did last week, and for a week it's worked out. Um, for me, a craving is like you're sitting in a room with somebody a lot stronger than you, someone a lot more powerful than you, someone a lot more intelligent than you that you don't understand why, but you respect them hugely. And they are telling you to hold your breath and to only stop holding your breath when they tell you to, but they don't. It builds and builds, and everyone's held their breath before. It's that weird, fucking primal panic to get breath into you. But my brain mistakes the breath for fucking booze. It's genuine. Ugh, ugh. It's fucking anxiety. It's anxiety, depression, pure terror, and this underlining little fucking rat bastard rage underneath it, just like pointing at myself that needs numbing immediately. I need my substance. And it wins. Yeah, won many, many times. One thing I forgot to mention last week, yeah, 16 times of withdrawal. More than 16 relapses, lapses, or fucking slips. Lots more. And every time that's a craving winning. A decision I made to give in. So I mentioned about how I change. I'm still myself at that point. Very much myself. Before I'm intoxicated or I have anything in me, I'm influenced. Still very much influenced by myself. By that, in dialectical behavioral therapy, they call it the addict brain. Normal brain. I don't think the normal brain is normal for me. I'm a role player. I can't plan for shit. I don't plan. I've never have. I have an awful time planning. Planning is fucking sacrilege to me. I detest it. I hate planning shit. Fuck plans. If you come to me with a plan, I will say, fuck you, sir. Get this shit away from me. Go forth, cover a rake in peanut butter, give yourself a peanut allergy surgically. That's how that works. And fuck yourself with that rake. So you may have anaphylaxis and a rake in Uranus. Sorry. When I've made that decision, and I've got my phone, I've done my little fucking delivery order, planted it. I'm all about plans. I'm a fucking reconnaissance genius. Over my drinking career, well, so that's cool. Let's put this in the frame of the last 3 years, or when it's happened. I can't tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow. I can't tell you what I'm going to do with the rest of today. I don't know what I'm going to be streaming a few hours from now. I don't really care. When the screen on the phone switches to the map with the rider on the way, with the 5 minutes, if it's co-op, it's 3 minutes. Those were, oh God, I was happy those days. Some days I even paid for priority, so it's less. I could tell you to the fucking millimeter where to step on the stairs for it to make the least noise. Every step. There's 14 steps. I know the exact amount of pressure to put on the door handle and how to put weight on it to kind of push the door down in the frame so there's as little creaking as possible so that the noise doesn't set the dog off barking, which will then alert people in the house that there is a random delivery at 8 a.m. in the morning, and why I'm reading out my date of birth and a number 20. Um, on the days where I was really anxious about it, or I saw a driver's name that I know is loud and they fucking knock hard, no matter the time, I knew exactly the angle to crab walk right out of the door, to walk 4 steps up the driveway so that the right hand sensor of the Ring camera didn't catch my earlobe or my cheek and set off a recording that my mother would get on her phone. I was a fucking genius at it. Why? Why'd I care? Shame or guilt? I didn't want the people I live with to know I'd been successful in, you know, turning the world off for another day. Added an element of effort to it. No matter what excuse I'd used for the relapse, that wasn't enough. That was to get me to the point where I wanted to. You know, the planning and getting the booze and, you know, very gently grabbing the bottom of the paper bag and holding it against the bottle so there wasn't any rustling, and then carrying it upstairs like a fucking goblet. It's more valuable than anything I'd ever held in my life. Putting that effort in made it a fucking reward as well. The sheer fucking gall of me to make it a reward. This is a lot easier to talk about than I thought it was. This is way easier than last week. Shit, I'm getting better at this. I said I'm trying to stop doing that. That's the craving in the moment. That's the ordering and procuring of it, and kind of the process of getting it somewhere we can be alone. The relapse had already started at that point. It happened weeks before, where I'd unwittingly done everything in my power to isolate myself, not cognizant of it. By the way, I kind of got the urge to talk about this today because I've just been to a group, and we were talking about cravings. Funnily enough, it was a really good one, very really good for me. Doing this is quite a nice way of making sure it stays in there, putting it into my own words and my own experience, because I don't want to take over the entire fucking group with my shit. Yeah, it happens weeks before, so without realizing it, my demeanor has shifted so heavily. I am so avoidant of people, my sense of humor disappears. And when I try to make a joke, it's often spiteful, in bad faith, or cruel. I've already begun disappearing at that point. In all honesty, I'm only really starting to learn who or what I am. But that's not me. That is definitely not me. I fucking hate cruelty. That's the before, so that can be a few weeks leading up to it. Looking for that excuse. Who did this to me? You fucker. You made me do this. And then there's the moment. If it's a lighter, no, I'm not going to say lighter or heavier. No, they're all just as fucking bad as each other. I would either dilute it. There's vodka, of course. So dilute it with something. Uh, Sometimes with my delivery, I'd treat myself to some flavored water, and I'd dilute vodka with fucking, ugh, fucking peach flavored water or some shit, and that leads to the moment. That leads to the really sad moment um, of having it in the glass, being there, and the moment my fingers touch it, I'm like, yeah. Talking from the past 2 or 3 times it happened when I knew it was bad and my withdrawals were getting. It's not even that my withdrawals were getting worse. I knew at that point, fuck, this is going to go on for a while. I'm going to stop cold turkey, and I am most likely going to die. Touching the glass, that is just this avalanche of defeat. That is knowing I'm gone. Not uh not gone in the context of I'm gonna die. Gone in the context of I disappear now, and I do. Once I make the final decision and drink it, all semblance of me disappears. I become that fucking isolated, just gross, pathetic kind of wretch. The Over the course of the weeks, days, months of the relapse, I only while actively drinking. This isn't withdrawal. Um, I would kind of like my consciousness would kick in again, and I'd bubble back up. Fuck, I'm in trouble. I'm in really bad trouble. I am going to have to go to the hospital. Maybe if I reduce. The advice is drop by 10% a day. That means in 10 days, I can be clean. That's a great idea. I'm going to reduce. Let me order another bottle so I can reduce. Ah, shit, I drank it all. Let me buy another bottle so I can reduce. And then we come to last week's video, the confrontation with it, which normally ends in either a trip to A&E, a dose of some benzo, or a hospitalization. And all that shit. So the craving is kind of like me opening up a cage, and then the relapse is me holding myself hostage in said cage. I don't recommend it. That's why I talk about it now, so I don't have to do that again. And I see you lurkers in here. I appreciate anybody who at any point watches this, because talking about it it's the most me I've ever been. That is a very fucking good feeling. It is being vulnerable about it and being honest without holding shit back or trying to make myself look or feel better about it. That feels a little bit like freedom. Yeah. Starting to make lemonade now. Thank you. Right, back to the stream then. Let's go say something racist. All right. Sorry, I had to do that one. I am in a pretty good mood. All right, let's get it highlighted and load Umbra back up. Ah. Oh, I can turn off my slut light now.